thought for the day. Saying no is its own art form. Welcome to 7 Minutes for Yourself. I'm Christina Aina, and I'm so glad you've joined me for what I believe will be 7 of the most enriching minutes of your day. Let's take this time to reconnect with ourselves and improve our well-being. In today's episode of 7 Minutes for Yourself, we discover the art of assertiveness and use it as our comprehensive guide to establishing healthy boundaries. Have a listen.
Why we sometimes don't set boundaries with people, why we allow people to either take advantage of us or abuse us. And I think that this is really important towards you really taking care of yourself. So one of the things that I always say with boundaries is, and I just have some notes here because I want to make sure that I'm clear on this, and I want to give you specific examples that you can use when you are setting boundaries. So first off, people pleasing. If you are a people pleaser, then you are going to struggle with boundaries because you don't want to say no to people. You fear that if I say no to you, that you'll either leave me or you won't like me or you'll be disappointed in me or maybe you'll view me or maybe I'll even view myself as the person that's not flexible and not willing to help others. And so because of that people pleaser, because of that codependency sometimes that we have, we give and give and give. And we're giving for the wrong reasons. We're giving either because we want to get something, which is love, approval, validation. We want someone to think that we're a good person because we don't tell ourselves that we're a good person. The other thing is we have been conditioned by our parents, by our society to put other people first. So when we're growing up, we're taught to always do this because mom would like you to do it, or do this because this will mean you're a good person. And yes, there has to be a balance between being a giving person, being a loving person, being a happy person that wants to help other people, and also learning how to kind of fill ourselves up inside as well and feed ourselves. And I feel like that's where we as a society get a little twisted. We focus so much on giving to other people, giving to the other person, that we don't learn how to give to ourselves. No one teaches us that. So something as simple as just being on the playground when you see kids and you see a child playing with a toy and another child comes over to him or her and says, I would like to play with that. Usually the parent immediately comes in and goes, go ahead, share, make sure you share. And that's really important, of course, to teach our children how to share. But on the other hand, maybe the child wasn't done with the toy. So I think things like that just go to show how we just give. We don't even bother to ask ourselves, hey, am I done playing with this? Do I want to give this up right now? Or can I just play with it? Or am I being taught or forced to just give and give, and I don't want to give. I want to give to myself first. So there has to be a balance between both of those things. And it is sometimes a difficult balance to teach kids those things, but I do think that we're going to go over a lot of things in here in terms of how to set boundaries. And one of them is really asking yourself, do I want to do this? Is this good for me? It's a great thing to want to help people, and you definitely feel amazing inside when you're helping others. But when you're depleted and you know that you don't take care of yourself, then it's not a good feeling to help others. You actually become really exhausted. You become really resentful because maybe you feel like, hey, I'm always giving and giving in these relationships, and I don't ever feel like anyone's ever pulling their own weight. I don't feel like people are meeting me in the middle or helping me out. And when I need something, everyone's quick to say, no, they can't. But when someone wants something of me, I'm just quick to jump and help anyone who needs the assistance. And so what I always say to that is, if you're helping and you're exhausted, or you're helping and you're becoming resentful, if you're helping, looking for validation, looking for someone to, make you feel like you're a good person, or that you have guilt, or that you put this kind of shame blanket on yourself that if I don't do this, I'm not a good person, or maybe, I don't love this person enough if I'm not willing to help them out. That's really not the case. A lot of the times, especially the givers, especially the people pleasers, especially the codependents, they will go above and beyond, and actually they give and give to a fault, because what you're doing is you're giving so much to someone else that you're not actually allowing them to learn the lesson that maybe they need to learn in their own journey. When I realized that, it kind of was like an aha moment for me, and I was like, wow, I'm coming in and I'm trying to save the day, and I don't often say no to people. And, one of the biggest things too for me was I was always exhausted. And then I would become a little bitter and resentful of always helping others. And then when I felt like someone wasn't helping me, I got angry about it. And so I had to learn how to take care of myself first. And one of the things was finding out, why am I always saying yes to everyone? So one of the biggest things, and I just touched on this a little bit ago, was asking myself, is this good for me? Should I be doing this right now? So I always say those questions are the questions, especially if you're doing codependent recovery. If you're trying to overcome from codependency, if you're trying to reprogram, one of the biggest things towards self-love, self-care, whatever you want to call it, is asking yourself, should I be doing this right now? Is this good for me right now? And if you're really honest with yourself, the truth will come up, and that part of you, that loving part of you will always say, hey, I don't really want to do this right now. And the biggest thing with boundaries is learning how to say no and not explaining yourself.
That concludes today's episode of 7 Minutes for Yourself. Please take a moment to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts. Today and every day with your kiddo is a gift. Enjoy it. Thanks for tuning in.